So, guys, I was thinking that maybe, just maybe, for the sake of the culture that we're in right now and just the world that we live in, I think we should rename our podcast Superhero News all the time. All the time.
Just the superhero news show? Just
Yeah,
superhero
superhero news all the time.
Brilliant idea. I mean, it's totally on tap. No one talks about superhero stuff.
Seriously.
We'd
be cornering the market. We'd be cornering the market.
We're the lone voice speaking out for superhero movies. And I think it's good. Yeah, like
no one talks about them. And no one sees them. You know, it's like so few are made.
It's such a niche. It's such a niche market,
following, but nothing like they're like, it just doesn't do well at the box. So I think it would be good to speak up for the small productions out there doing superhero movies. If we just call it superhero news all the time, yeah.
All right.
So
this intro has been brought to you by Rule of Thirds. If it was made in the 90s,
exactly.
So there we go.
Yeah. Anyway, all jokes aside, welcome to CinemaTalk, the official podcast for RuleThirds.com. Today, we're doing a recap of all the crazy superhero news that has gone down over the past week or two. It's going to be a fun time, and sit tight, because it's going to be a long one. So, with that said, my name is Max.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Larry.
Gentlemen, get your popcorn, get in your seats, let's get going.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
So hey guys, welcome to CinemaTalk, the official podcast of Rule Thirds. Still continuing our grand and very important hiatus that the world over is watching with curious ears and eyes. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So today we're, as I mentioned before, we're going to be talking about superheroes. Now I know usually everybody talks about superhero movie news. And I think sometimes we kind of, in reaction to that, we don't talk about superhero news, but there's just so much stuff going on that it would be impossible to just avoid it altogether, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Exactly. So today we're going to be going in order of the news stories that were announced. These are the big ones. They're both rumors and confirmations, and we'll make sure that we will make it very clear if they are rumors or if they are not rumors. So
definitely.
The first one is going to be a rumor, and it's all about it all starts on the Marvel front. We're going to start with Marvel stories because they came first. So the Avengers, right? We know the Avengers.
The what?
They are people who take revenge on people who try to blow up the Earth.
Right, those guys.
Well, that seems like preemptive revenge because they don't succeed in blowing up the Earth ever. So really, exactly. It's a weird name.
Yeah, it's I would have preferred retaliators, but I guess that's just me. So there's been a rumor flying around that a brand new team of Avengers will be assembled for Avengers 3. Not Avengers Age of Ultron, not the one coming out this May, but Avengers 3 due out, I believe, in 2018.
Yes. But really quick, while we're on Ultron, it's not new news, but someone at Comic-Con, they did a trailer for Age of Ultron. Someone who was there storyboarded it, and it's wonderful, so go look up Age of Ultron Comic-Con storyboarded trailer.
Put that in the description, Larry.
I will. Yes, I can get the link to Larry. It's a wonderful trailer. I hope we see it with Interstellar.
Right.
Anyway, my stupid interruptions aside, Avengers 3.
Yeah, Avengers 3. So according to this, we're just going to go off news stories that we just find on the internet. According to IGN, there is a rumor that the original lineup of the Avengers, the ones that you and I are all familiar with, are going to be saved for later films, and a brand new team led by Iron Man, led by Robert Downey Jr., is going to be composed of other heroes from around the comic book universe that will be introduced by Avengers 3.
Actually, I have a conflicting report.
Really?
I can't remember where that says that the end credit scene of Avengers 2 is Captain assembling a new team.
Oh,
not Iron Man.
So somebody assembling a new team. Then that
One
would
of
actually
those
make
two,
sense because Captain America has been like kind of the
it's either going to be one or the other.
But in the movies, it looks more like Iron Man is the leader of the Avengers.
I think the original rumor started with Iron Man, and then people started talking about maybe Captain doing it, and perhaps the rumor spread from there.
Yeah. So the rumor is it's not gonna be like a new cast of like characters that you've never heard of before. They're gonna be characters from other Marvel movies. Let's see. I think we were talking about this right before we started recording, Sean. You said Doctor Strange might be involved.
Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Black Panther.
Ant-Man makes sense.
Maybe Miss Marvel. She was rumored to appear.
Yeah, Black Panther and Miss Marvel have been like rumored to get their own movies for a long time, and nothing has really
Black Panther has been confirmed to be getting a movie. Miss Marvel is not. Yeah, Black Panther is confirmed by Stan Lee. That's in the works. We just don't. We don't have a date for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Well, we don't even know if it's in Phase 3 or if it's going to be after. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's getting one, and he could possibly be in Avengers 3, which is a new team led by Captain.
But yeah, so what do you guys think about this? Instead of like going the usual sequel route and having, or threequel route, and just having the characters that we've seen in the past two movies, we now have a whole new team, like Avengers: The Next Generation.
That's funny.
Sort of. But what do you guys think? Do you think this works, or is it weird? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, you can go first.
Well, thank you, kind sir.
Yes.
I like the plan. I think it's a reasonable plan, considering, according to, I think it was IGN's report, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans' contracts are quickly dwindling. They only have a few more movies left, and if they want to get them back, they're going to have to raise up their pay raise, which is not something they've been trying to stay away from that. So I think this is a very good plan. I think it's very interesting in how different characters can finally start playing a role. Because for the last few phases, that's not what I meant to say. The last two phases, excuse me. The only new characters we've seen are the Guardians. And while that's great, I want to see some characters that have been kind of being requested since way earlier. Black Panther, Miss Marvel, of course, Ant-Man already has a movie, so to see him finally join the Avengers team would be great.
And to be fair, he was an original member of the Avengers,
exactly,
back in issue 1.
Right. Yeah, but so is Yondu from Guardians. So
in the original Avengers comic, which actually did have Loki as the main villain, it was Iron Man, Hulk, Wasp, Ant-Man, and Thor. It was those 5 characters. Them against Loki. I read this, and it's a.
I was very upset when I originally heard that Ant-Man wasn't going to be a part of the new the Avengers team in the first place, because I thought, well, he plays a pretty big role. But then they kind of found a way to mix him into the plot, which I thought actually worked. Instead, Tony Stark built Ultron, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And I think this is it's smart. It's smart on a business perspective. It's smart on a fan perspective. I think it could really give us some great new blood. And Doctor Strange also. I'm very much so looking forward to him.
Yeah.
Whoever's being cast as him.
Whoever decides to finally grab it.
Okay, so now my thoughts on it. This news kind of confirmed that I'll have to eventually drift away from the MCU. It was confirming something I've kind of been afraid of for a while, and that's that these movies are going to start becoming very much like comic books. One of the reasons I'm not huge into comic books is they're messy. They're not tight. Okay. They're not controlled. They're how do I put this? Really, that's the only way to put it. They're too open. They're too all over the place. They can just the focused nature of the first 2 phases have been wonderful. And so now, if you're going to do Avengers 1, Avengers 2 with the same cast, adding a few for good measure, great. But in Avengers 3, if you just drop everyone, and then with 4, it's like a quasi mix. I mean, it's getting too big. They're throwing in too many heroes. It's not as coherent as Phase 1 and 2. It seems to be, at least. I
can understand that, and again, I want to reiterate: this is a rumor. None of this might be true. It might just be like.
If I can, we'll get more into this when we get into our next. I believe it's a rumor, or is it? Whatever.
Rumor.
It's a rumor. If our second rumor happens to be true, I think you might not have to worry about that.
Right.
But we'll get to that when we get to the second one.
Wait. Okay.
I'll explain to it when we get to the next one.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far listen, I've always been kind of. I don't know why I've always been kind of impartial to the Avengers movie series. Like I've always been a bit, bigger fan of Iron Man, Cap, and those kind of guys. I know the Avengers movie series has been one movie so far, but the fact is, I just haven't been as invested as a lot of comic book fans have been. I've been more interested in solo projects.
It was a great movie.
It was a really good movie. Yeah, and it just didn't even though it was a mostly an event, it just didn't grab me as much as like other stuff did, like Iron Man or Captain America: The First Avenger or anything like that.
Winter Soldier was great too, but
Age of Ultron was fantastic.
Just has the word. Oh my god, Age of Ultron has the potential to be just like the best.
Let's not freak out about that. We will freak out about that when the movie is here on May 1st.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But with that said, I was always like of the I always thought, and this might be different now. A lot of things I originally thought about the Marvel Cinematic Universe has now been proven wrong thanks to this and other news stories that we'll be covering very, very shortly. That I originally thought that Avengers 3 was going to be the big Infinity Gauntlet story.
And it's been building up. That's what they've been building up since Avengers 1.
And I thought
Guardians just kind of undeniably confirmed it. It's like, hey, here's the Infinity Stone.
I would say even before that.
With the active appearance of Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy, I was under the impression that Avengers 3 would be kind of a finale sort of thing.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, it would be a finale to... Like, we would still have stuff in the MCU, maybe have cameos every now and then, but nothing quite as, free-flowing. I would want, like, a crossover. Like, it would be cool to have, like Ant-Man and Black Panther have, like, a team-up movie sort of thing, or just a team-up movie in general. But, like, the Avengers thing would be, like, done after the third one. It would be a trilogy, with Thanos always poking his head in and seeing what's going on. That's what
I want.
But it seems, though, I'm not asking for an Avengers 4. Just like I'm not asking for an Iron Man 4 or anything like that.
Oh, God, please, no Iron Man 4.
Yeah, I think we're done with
We'll get to that.
There have been so many conflicting reports about that, honest.
Yeah, it's, I think this might be just going a little bit too far. Maybe, just a little bit too far. I'm not going to deny, if they get good filmmakers behind it, they get a good story, that's great. But right now, just based on ideas, and again, this is a rumor, none of this might be true, and this all might be just like jargon that doesn't actually mean anything.
I think a great idea based off of your... I mean, I get your worries. It's not very understandable. Sean has always been one to, kind of be afraid of franchise weariness in the future.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, franchise weariness. He's very afraid, and it's a thin line. It's a very thin line, but in my opinion,
you can't get greedy.
I'm starting to think that maybe perhaps Phase 3 will happen, and then there'll be like one more just huge like shebang movie.
I want to see Star-Lord and Iron Man like either fight each other or fight Thanos. I want to see that.
Who doesn't
want to see that? And I think Avengers 3 is the perfect route for that. And I think it's going to be after Guardians of the Galaxy 2 comes out, so you can do a nice bridge over into, would it not be awesome if, like, post-credits of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was when, like, Star-Lord finally decides to return to Earth, and he's like, and, like, you see Iron Man, you see Robert Downey Jr. walk up, and, like, bam, right there. Confrontation. But anyway, geeking out aside, I do think that maybe, I think they just got to keep that solid structure.
And I think they are.
I think they're extending it out because it's like
based on this
I think
rumor,
Phase 3 is going to build up this decision. If this rumor is true, Phase 3 is going to give us those movies in which we learn about these characters, and then Avengers 3 will be less of a huge like, oh, well, what's going on, because we already know about these characters.
Also, I feel like Age of Ultron is going to give us insane insight into Phase 3.
Oh yeah,
we'll have a much better picture after that movie.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, and you know what? I think it's good to transition from Age of Ultron being big. We got to talk about this huge news story. I don't think it's a rumor.
No, it's a report. So it hasn't been confirmed by anyone involved. Hasn't been denied either. It's just kind of sitting there.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly how Marvel likes it, because we just keep talking about it until they,
Yep.
Marvel loves to play with the public and the press. They love to do that because it's actually very viable and economically healthy for them to do that. Mm-hmm. But the big news, the report is that Robert Downey Jr. is to join the Captain America 3 cast as a very important member of a very important character as Iron Man. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of people are speculating based on both his inclusion as a major character and also the fact that on the same day this was announced, Marvel announced that Civil War would be coming back, that this is going to introduce the Civil War storyline from the, I would say, kind of controversial 2006 series called Civil War. If you don't know what Civil War is, neither do I, but here's the gist of that from what I understand.
I've read most of it. Can I recap?
Yeah, go for it. Just make it quick.
Not most of it, but good half. Okay, so pretty much there's this really bad accident at a school between superheroes fighting and stuff. Some civilians are killed, whatever. And Iron Man pushes for the Superhero Registration Act, which means all superheroes have to register their true identities with the government in order to have some reliability with these incredibly powered people. Captain, who was around during World War II, said, "Hey, let's not register a bunch of people."
Yeah,
And
because
so
drafting
when the law passes, Captain America becomes a fugitive, and him and his supporters kind of go into hiding. And Civil War is like half the Marvel universe versus the other half, and they full on fight. Captain America is assassinated. It's a really big deal.
Yeah. And
they're
this
just going to
is
totally blow it.
And this is what I was talking about before. Sean was talking about how he was afraid that the coherent structure of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to deteriorate with this brand new team. And my opinion is, I think the Civil War storyline is going to somehow form sort of a new structure within the MCU. Like, I don't know what exactly you'd call... I mean, I guess the Initiative is kind of what we would describe the first phase as.
Yeah, the Avengers Initiative is the first phase.
Right.
What is second? I don't know what the second phase
I don't know. I think
But
it's...
here's the question. Is Captain America 3 Civil War?
I'm not sure.
Honestly, we're not sure. That's the.
Or
I
is
think
it
that's
leading
the rumor.
to Civil War? Is that Avengers 3? Then there's no way it's involved a minor cast, because the two leaders are Iron Man and
this
Captain.
is a good thing to bring up. I think the rumor is that it has to do with Civil War, and the report is that Iron Man 3 is going to join Captain America 3 Iron Man is going to join Cap 3 as a major supporting character. The thing
Actually,
is,
I've heard that Iron Man will be the villain.
Yeah, that's another
Which
thing.
would make sense in this case.
Well, I mean, in a Civil War sense, but like this new story, I think is like people are like basically putting two and two together, and again, nothing's been confirmed because Marvel likes to do that. So
I would like to voice my... I don't know, I think it's pretty obvious so far. I don't want them to do Civil War. I think it's way too big for them to do right now. I think it would just not be... it would not live up to what it should be, because right now you're introducing a ton of heroes that could easily fall in, so just wait a while until you have the number of characters to fully pull off a Civil War movie, then do it.
See, the thing is, all great stories, especially when it involves wars, can be broken down into just simple ideas.
But then it's not Civil
with those
War.
Ideas.
The point of Civil War is that it is it takes the Marvel Universe and throws it on its head. Captain America is killed. Tons of superheroes are killed in Civil War. Civil War has a lot to do with, spoiler for Amazing Spider-Man 2, Gwen Stacy's death. Actually.
It does? Wait, what? It does?
Yeah, it actually plays a
Really?
big part in Spider-Man's role in the war. Because...
Wait, but I thought she died long before the Civil War was even a thing.
it depends on the universe.
Oh,
Comics.
yeah.
Comics.
Comics.
Okay,
Anyway.
well, let's think about this for a second. Avengers 3 rumored to have a new team with Iron Man, right? What if Captain America 3, we saw it introduced Falcon in Captain America 2, so maybe Captain America 3 starts introducing a ton of different characters. And again, I know that might seem a bit like overkill.
What?
And
okay.
No, here's my idea. It's just an idea I'm spitballing. What if like Captain America 3 was about Captain sort of meeting all these new heroes and sort of making ties for if a new team was necessary, and perhaps those characters could be expanded upon within phase 3, thus making Avengers 3 more understandable. Avengers 3 would be more Iron Man finding the team with Captain America's team already established.
Maybe, but this feels really unbalanced.
In a way, it does. Again, this is all
standalone Marvel
hypothetical.
films. Here's the problem that Marvel's facing right now. They want to do these big stories, but they've kind of trapped themselves by the structure of Phase 1 and 2.
Yeah, in a way.
The standalone films have never been that interconnected to the overarching thing. Things have carried over.
Not until Winter Soldier, at least.
Yeah, Winter Soldier, I don't think is even going to play that big of a deal. S.H.I.E.L.D. wouldn't do much against Ultron.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to how they attack that. But yeah.
Now, I do think they tie in. Like, that's why Thor to the Dark World kind of bugs me, because it has absolutely nothing to do with Ultron. Whereas everything else definitely leads into Ultron very nicely. So, the problem with your theory, Larry, is that you're assuming that Marvel is going to throw pretty much all setup for Avengers 3 into a Captain movie, where that has been in no way the role of any standalone film, let alone a Captain movie.
Okay, I see your point. And I'm not saying that all of it would be in Cap 3. I think that...
Sorry, does anyone hear the cannons?
What?
Yeah.
Okay,
What?
well, those are cannons. Never mind.
What?
Okay.
There's a football game and they do cannons and it's loud.
Yeah,
Anyway, viewer,
I know
that's what that was.
I understand. I know what that's like. Anyway, but I understand that, and I think that true. It would be a little weird, but I think with the critical response as well as the fan response to Winter Soldier, and especially how that connected to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and how fans are like excited once these new singular films are starting to connect to the overall picture. I think Marvel has gotten, no pun intended, the picture in the idea that we need to start connecting these. I mean, if they're going to do Civil War, which I know you don't want, but if they do, I think that's kind of what they have to start doing. They have to start making these individual films more into the big picture. Now, again, if they don't do Civil War, well, will I be upset? Absolutely not. I mean, as somebody who loves these films, I will still say that I love them more just as films. My love for them as films comes first, as opposed to them being in the timeline.
I just want them to exist.
Yeah, I know,
and
right?
be good.
Just the fact that these movies exist is already miraculous enough. However, if they're gonna do this, I think that really it's not just gonna be Cap 3. It's gonna be most of Phase 3 that is going to be introducing all of these new characters. And again, there are a lot of untitled Marvel movies that currently exist. If you look at the timeline, Marvel announced like 5 movies, and only like 1 or 2 of them are actually confirmed. So we have no idea what they're holding from us.
Yeah, I guess. I just think it would be a bad call.
And I totally understand where you're coming
Can I intervene? Can I intervene? Please?
Of course.
Please? Okay. I hate to say this. I hate to predict this because I really don't want them to do this. But I wouldn't be surprised if the climax of Captain America 3 is that, well, Iron Man actually, based on what we know of, if Iron Man is actually the villain, he actually does get Captain America. He kills him.
No.
Big time.
No, they can't possibly do that because...
the only thing is, then Sebastian Stan, the guy who's been signed up for 9 Marvel films and is only showing up in one of them, based on, when he signed the contracts, he would take up the mantle as Captain America. Now, that's everybody's theory.
Oh, yeah.
It does make a little bit of sense.
That's true.
Because, at the end of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and I'm pretty sure at the beginning of Age of Ultron, we're going to know that Captain America is on the search for Bucky.
Yes, here's the problem, though.
Spoiler alert for Winter Soldier.
Here's the problem. In Captain America: The Winter Soldier, they introduced the only 2 important characters that they introduced were Agent 13.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about there?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
And then-
Agent 13, yeah.
And then Crossbones. Those were the only
that
2
guy.
significant additions to the MCU that came from that movie outside of, why am I totally spacing on the name? Falcon, of course.
And they give a name
Who
drop to
deserves a
Doctor
prequel
Strange.
movie? I believe Falcon should get a prequel movie.
They give a name drop
So
to Doctor
those
Strange
2,
also. But,
you know what's funny about those 2 characters? Agent 13, Crossbones. You know what's really funny about those 2 coming in at the exact same movie?
They're well-written characters.
They are literally the only 2 people in all Marvel Comics who have ever killed Captain America.
Really? Wait, was it Agent 13 who killed him?
Oh,
So,
damn.
if
damn.
they're gonna have, if they're gonna try and do Civil War, I don't think they're building up to precisely Civil War. I think they're grabbing that element. Captain is probably a goner after Avengers 3 at the latest because they did sign Sebastian Stan on, and yes, Bucky takes over all the time in the comics for Captain.
Wow,
My roommate's watching football
I
games,
heard
so-
that, and I think
Yeah.
I think it's fair to assume at this moment, Avengers 3 ain't gonna be the finale. I'm gonna put my hand out there.
Well,
There's
it's
gonna
not
be
like
a
they're
4.
gonna end Marvel movies.
There's gonna
it's
be
just-
a Phase 4.
Yeah, it's but okay, going before we lose track, the thing is, having Robert Downey Jr. in this is like a very cynical Max Manor talking. It does kind of seem to me that Robert Downey Jr., for some weird reason, is trying to grab onto the Marvel franchise for dear life, as if he's going to fall into obscurity after Iron Man 3, which felt like a very good and very firm conclusion to his character. Which is why I think all of us were predicting he was going to die in Age of Ultron. which
See,
would
that's
make
my
complete
biggest
sense.
thing. That's why I'm gonna be perfectly honest here. The reason I'm upset about Civil War if it happens, and most of that is that it confirms Iron Man does not die in Age of Ultron.
Which is sad, because I think we both wanted that to happen.
We both want it to happen. I think it works unbelievably well thematically. I think it would really we could dedicate a whole podcast, at least I could, about how problematic Marvel's TV-like take is, since we're now, how many years in it with no significant change to the overall storyline. So if this was a TV show, people would be starting to tune out. That's the stage I'm at.
Well, the destruction of S.H.I.E.L.D. was pretty,
It really wasn't. It really wasn't.
I think it was.
S.H.I.E.L.D. had so little
It was the
to do
core
with
that brought everything together into one piece, and now it's broken.
Yeah, but now we have the Avengers. We don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Its role was done. So, anyway, I could rant about that because I really want a massive change. I want a shake-up. Killing off Iron Man would be the way to do that. And I think it works thematically. And also, I'm kind of ready for Age of Ultron to be the last MCU movie that I super care about. So that would kind of just bring me full circle and just kind of
why?
cut it down. Because it's going to expand too much. I have to kind of let go before it gets too out of control and I stop enjoying it. I keep desperately trying to enjoy it, but can't. I gotta let go. I think Age of Ultron is where I do that. And what would really, really help if Iron Man was killed in it, because he's always been my favorite, and I've been, Iron Man started it, so if he dies in Ultron, that would be the end. That'd be the end for me, and that'd be great.
Okay, here's an hypothesis I literally just thought of off the top of my head.
Awesome.
So, what?
Oh, awesome. Just
you said
off
awesome.
the top of your head, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, leading up into it's not a story hypothesis, it's more like a why this is even why we're even talking about this in the first place. In the months before Guardians of the Galaxy was coming up, people were talking about it as if it was a huge risk for Marvel, and the payoff was going to be big, or the effect, its financial success was going to be a huge factor in determining the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With it still in theaters and just peaking at about $700 million, I think it just passed $700 million. Do you think this is sort of the negative effects we never talked about? The fact that it might just be going out of hand, the fact that Marvel can do whatever it wants, and with no restrictions, it can just go nuts and just.
See, I'm fine.
And I don't want to say that because I wanted this outcome to happen. I wanted crazy things to happen because I wanted Guardians to be a success. But now that I look at it, I mean, if it was just a moderate success and Marvel just kept going on this very linear and very well-structured take, maybe we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in right now.
Here's what's going to happen. I feel like Marvel did get the message that they could do whatever they want. They can be really risky. And because they're going to get really risky, I think we're going to get a far more varying level of quality and audience reception. Because when they started, they say it was kind of a risk, but as soon as Iron Man was a hit, it wasn't a risk anymore. Yeah, and it was safe. These are characters that are safe to make. Thor was the riskiest, and we can deal with that. That's not super fantasy, and we like fantasy as an audience. Thor wasn't that risky, and he was the riskiest of Phase 1. So they played it safe. They just did it well. That was Marvel's thing. And I have to say, that's one of the strengths. As much as, just a few minutes ago, I said they really need to shake it up. However...
And the one risk they took was, the Avengers, which paid off really well.
Right, however, if they're getting this green card to go wild, I feel like they're going to do some bad choices now that they're no longer restricted to play it safe. A Miss Marvel movie is risky. Black Panther a little bit, but he's pretty much Batman, so that shouldn't be too risky. I mean, Ant-Man was risky. And I guarantee, because they're no longer playing it safe, we're going to start getting some misfires. But we're also going to get the amazing ones. I think it's going to go all over the place.
I don't think that this means the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be bad now. No. I think it just might. We're just not going to have the same trust. Okay, here's a good analogy. Marvel's Phase 1 was we were the audience was the parents. We were financially supportive and we wanted to see how they would do. And then Guardians of the Galaxy is them moving out for the first time and seeing how they do. And they did really well. So now they're living on their own, and now they're gonna start partying a lot, and there's gonna be a lot of stuff to clean up, and there's gonna be some bad choices made that nobody's gonna really thinking about after that.
Civil War, perhaps.
Yeah.
Avengers 3 being the new team and just kind of tossing aside the previous established core group. Yeah, maybe.
And you know what? This might be a high after Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe Marvel will be okay, this is going too far. We're going to step back. Because these guys are smart. These guys are not just going to make every decision to make it grounded and ready to go. I mean, if that were true, then Edgar Wright would still be directing it.
Yeah. Well, all reports I've read said that was Disney's doing.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Disney.
yeah. But you get the point. Like,
Yes.
I don't, it's entirely possible. Yeah. Real quick though, because you just brought it up. Somebody did bring this up to me just in regards to Age of Ultron and Black Panther. The fact is that Captain America's shield breaks, and the fact that the shield is made out of vibranium. And the only place you can find vibranium is that place where Black Panther
However,
is.
Captain's shield breaking is part of a scene in which it appears Captain is dead and Thor is dead. And I think Black Widow in the shot, and it was shown in the trailer. So again, go look at the storyboard. You'll see the scene that I'm talking about.
I want to see a movie. I don't want to see a trailer.
No, I know. But it's storyboarded. It doesn't really spoil much. It's very limited in plot detail. So go check it out, Max. Yeah. It really won't spoil anything. It'll make you really excited with that.
Okay, fine.
It's wonderful.
Okay, yeah. It's even like it could be a dream. That's what I've heard too.
Everyone says it's either Ultron in Ultron's head, or it's Vision. He's having a vision.
Ooh.
Or it's like a nightmare from Tony. Or it's Scarlet Witch giving him a vision of the future. What I hope it is Scarlet Witch gets some more psychic kind of abilities. Scarlet Witch is showing Tony what happens. Either you die or everybody die. That's what I hope.
And then that's the big thing that maybe that's why he goes back into action. Wait, do we see Iron Man dead?
No, Iron Man's the only one alive. That's the thing. Everybody else is dead.
I thought it was Captain America with a broken shield. And he was so.
No, see, that's in the same scene. But it shows Captain's
I want to get that.
body. He's pretty much dead.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. I think we're gonna go off track. We're gonna I think. Yeah,
hold on.
We're gonna get.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. As I think they're smart. I don't think they're gonna start.
absolutely.
I don't think they're gonna start partying and.
If they weren't smart, they would not be in the position they were in now because they wouldn't be able to put together all this stuff.
Honestly, I get why you guys are concerned. But I think they've come far enough to realize that if they're gonna, I know that Guardians of the Galaxy sort of was a risk and it paid off a lot, and this could possibly mean that they might do something weird. But I think they did Guardians in the respect that if it was gonna fail, they could still somehow make up for it. I don't think that anybody who's working on the MCU does anything without either a backup plan or without really thinking deep into the future of its impact. I don't think they're going to start making reckless decisions or anything.
You just have to pull a vision and just see the future.
Also, can we please acknowledge that Marvel greenlit Guardians of the Galaxy 2 before Guardians came out?
Yeah.
We can drop the charade that it was a risky move.
To be fair, Warner Brothers greenlit Man of Steel 2 before Man of Steel came out.
Yeah, that's because they were arrogant.
Yeah.
Well, so was Marvel.
No, Marvel had an entire Phase 1 and almost all of Phase 2 to back it up. Do you know what the last DC movie was? Green Lantern. That was unfounded arrogance.
Listen, to be fair, though, I think that I think Guardians of the Galaxy, in the beginning, it seemed like a risk, and then the first trailer came out, and it came to completely unfounded praise. So that's why Marvel.
I never saw that trailer. I didn't watch any of those trailers.
Well, that's why Marvel just went all right.
They're not too memorable.
This is gonna,
you couldn't really take much out of them.
Closer to its release, Guardians looked like a much bigger hit than they expected. So that's why they greenlit the second movie. No decision is made in the MCU without thought. So I don't think that they're going to start making these random, reckless decisions. I think if they're going to take on Civil War, they know what they're doing.
I agree,
guys.
Everything has thought. Max, one final point here, because it ties back to Civil War. So this is good at any point. Everything in the MCU gets thought, yes. However, it can be the wrong thought. Captain America 3 is rumored to be Civil War. What was releasing the same day as Cap 3?
Batman vs. Superman.
Right. What is the new rumored plot for Captain 3? Iron Man vs. Captain America.
Oh.
It is literally the same movie.
Dawn of Civil.
Yes. So if this is the wrong thinking, as in they look at these...
That's a great point.
Yeah, if they look...
Great.
Yeah, it's their most popular hero who is non-powered and wealthy versus their second most popular hero who is standing up for virtue, justice, and the American way. Yeah. It is Batman versus Superman.
Yeah. And and also really quick, I just remember this point. We need some kind of building conflict between Cap and Iron Man in Age of Ultron if we want this to work.
Right.
Seriously. There's no way that can't work. That can work if it just the pallies. Because Iron Man's an asshole, but he knows good from bad. But anyway, okay. So there's a lot to take in, and I think maybe this is all maybe we're just doubting Marvel because we haven't really seen a truly awful film from them yet.
We haven't seen them falter.
Yeah, we haven't seen them falter, and we're being cynical because all things must have, all things must be hills and valleys.
Everything ends. That's a quote from the Age of Ultron trailer. Go watch it.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Black Widow being all depressed and stuff.
Yeah. So,
Well,
man,
she was
okay,
in
we
Lucy.
did have it in
I'd
the
be
story.
depressed
We were pretty far into this. What?
Nothing. I was insulting Lucy.
pretty-
Don't mind me.
Yeah. So really, I want to do this really quick. But there are also, just in the Marvel universe, there have been rumors regarding a certain other franchise that. Oh God, let's make this quick. Let's make this as painless as possible. Let's talk about Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. So here's basically.
So
let's just
the
go
rumor
through.
is
You know,
that
let's,
Sony-
do we want to just go around put our stances? Well, okay, set it up, Max.
So there's a rumor. I want to make sure I got this right. There's a rumor, again, a rumor that Sony, based on the box office performance of The Amazing Spider-Man
And
2,
fan
not from
reception, just basic fan reception.
and fan reception, which is interesting because I didn't think they do that. Might be putting down the Amazing Spider-Man franchise just before it gets crazy with Sinister Six, Amazing Spider-Man 3, etc. And the rumor is that they might be putting over to the guys that we were just talking about, Marvel Studios. Giving back their most popular character ever.
It's minor news. Okay, we should just go through really quickly. Just give our stance.
I think that it would be cool, but honestly, at this point, either Spider-Man needs a break or he just needs he doesn't need to be in the Avengers. If people have been asking for that for a long time, I really, Spider-Man I think works better on his own because a lot of his struggles are very, like most superheroes, very internal. And I think it works very well when he's on his own because again, dynamic between secret identity and all that. And personally, I think making a cameo in the MCU, if we just had him if we just had a series called the Spectacular Spider-Man, where he was just it wasn't an origin story. We just saw him hanging out and maybe kind of like how the Ultimate Spider-Man universe, or how the TV show Ultimate Spider-Man began with him discovering S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that. He was already established and whatever. So something like that, just let him do his own thing. Maybe have a cameo. Maybe have him play a small role in the Avengers movie, but nothing like an actual nothing like him being in the Avengers.
Okay,
John,
Larry, go ahead.
Oh, me?
Yeah, I was very
okay.
worried.
I'm gonna drop some names. Fantastic Four, Deadpool. We also have X-Men starting, some Apocalypse stuff, as well as Wolverine getting another movie. Okay, Fox has some very potential franchises to build. They have movies on their slate that they know are going to be popular. X-Men Apocalypse is looking to be incredibly interesting, given Days of Future Past. Fans have been asking for a Deadpool movie for who knows how long, and even though most of us don't want to admit it, we're all pretty curious to see if Fantastic Four is either going to work or not. It's
even though it was pushed back to August from June,
I know.
Which is
it's I heard one guy on Twitter say that it's either going to be like the Dark Knight. It's either going to work or it's not going to work at all.
I certainly hope it works.
I'm curious
famous
to it
superheroes.
working also. I'm interested to see how it happens, but right now, Sony, just drop Spider-Man. You have a horse with a limp currently with this series, and you might as well just go out in the alley and shoot it.
The only reason The Amazing Spider-Man exists is because you were about to run out of the contract and you wanted to make another Spider-Man movie. And honestly, I understand that from a business standpoint, but I think you've got other franchises. You're rebooting Captain Planet, for shit's sake. You have enough franchises
also,
to...
Fox, come over here, okay? Listen. You're a good studio, okay? Okay. We know you guys can do stuff, but Sony killed it for you guys. Okay, it's done. Sony looked at the money. They looked at the money and they went, "Ooh, shiny!" And they jumped at the chance of possibly jumping on the Marvel train, and they failed. You might as well just give it up. I'm sorry, but Marvel can just do so much better.
I'm imagining you
with
walking
Spider-Man.
up to the actual 20th Century Fox building and just being right next to the end.
Yeah, I'm just I'm imagining
hey,
a
Fox,
a Sopranos
you might wanna
mafia
stop,
boss situation. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
you did good, but it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
Okay, Marvel can do so much more with this franchise, and
You and me were done professionally.
yeah, and it's worth it for the fans because fans didn't like Amazing Spider-Man 2 all that much, or at least if there were fans that liked it, it was very split. It was like your Man of Steel of the year.
Yeah, but Man of Steel spawned a ridiculous amount of movies because I hate life.
Yeah, but DC had. We're gonna talk about DC later, but I'm just telling you,
Really
Sony ruined it. So Fox, listen, you have the springboard. I am very much still looking forward to Deadpool. You have no idea. Let it go. Let it go.
Put it down. Like, you know, it's like
Go
like
in
a
the
dog.
back
It's
of the
always-
alley
Guys,
and
guys,
just
guys,
shoot.
everyone
like a-
stop. Okay, I think there's some serious confusion going on. What is Fox letting go?
Yeah. What is Fox? I actually was gonna ask that. What were we talking about?
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, sorry. I
You
was
talking about
talking
Sony?
Yeah, Sony.
Okay,
Well,
this has all been a
my bad.
lot of
Yes.
stuff for nothing. Good. Anyway, can I talk
You
about...
replace everything I said with Sony, and there's
Yeah.
your pretty much
Sony, drop it. Go work
Go
on
to the
other
back
things.
of the alley, shoot your Spider-Man horse, and breed a new one and give it to
no,
him.
no, just give that Spider-Man horse over to the over to the Marvel rent. They'll take good care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Sean. What do you
Okay.
think? What's your take?
I want Spider-Man in the MCU. I want Spider-Man in the
Yes.
Avengers. I do not want Peter Parker.
Yep.
I am done with Peter Parker. Peter Parker can never be seen
Oh.
again on the silver screen, and I'm
That's
fine.
an interesting idea. I like that. Miles
I
Morales,
disagree
bro.
with that.
Mike Morales, Black
Wait,
Spider-Man.
Mike Morales.
He's
Miles Morales. That would
He's
be cool to have
apparently
Miles
awesome. I haven't
Morales
read
as
enough.
free. That'd be great.
Miles
And that-
Morales, bro.
and also-
And seriously, and I hate to bring this up, but we seriously need some more diversity
Yes, we
in
do.
the Avengers.
we definitely do. Phase 1, Mike Morales as Spider-Man, and also you would call the movie Ultimate Spider-Man because he is the Spider-Man in the Ultimate Marvel Universe, Mike Morales, and it's also kind of a middle finger to all the other Spider-Man
not
movies.
Mike. Miles Morales.
Miles
Morales,
Morales?
not Mike.
Miles
Miles
Morales.
Morales.
Whatever.
Miles Morales.
It's also a giant middle finger to the other Spider-Man movies. This is the
Yeah,
ultimate
seriously.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
like the Spider. The other ones, I mean, I would argue that the first trilogy was great, but the other Spider-Man movies, no, this is Ultimate Spider-Man. Or like you could, there've been like great, like I like the Spectacular Spider-Man, like
No, do it
amazing.
Ultimate.
No.
Ultimate Spider-Man. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I want Miles Morales.
Oh, it would be interesting to have a Spider-Man movie with just Spider-Man and no Peter Parker. Though that would be really hard to make a story out of. Anyway, okay, so that and then before we move on to the other company in this, I just want to ask Marvel, where's Hulk? Can we get a Hulk movie up in
Yeah,
here?
they've announced that there's going to be some more Hulk movies.
No,
No,
they're-
they didn't.
no, they've announced that there's nothing yet. Like, what the hell? Like, Hulk has great stories, and you've got Mark freaking Ruffalo. Whatever. You know what?
I thought Mark Ruffalo signed on. Didn't he
I
sign
know,
a
I think
contract
he's
for
just-
movies?
For I think just like to be the Hulk in other movies. Which
Oh,
I mean,
that's
what if
depressing.
what if Thor 3 had Hulk in it?
Look, Marvel, you got like 3 to 4 movies on the docket right now you haven't announced yet. Just make one a Hulk movie.
Yeah,
and
just
add a
why
new
the hell
character
not?
on
You
the
got
side and make
you've
him a
got
part of the new
really
Avengers.
talented
thing.
act- Yeah. Anyway, okay, so I'm going off track. This is going to go over an hour. Whatever. So
DC.
DC.
Oh, DC.
They announced
you know what?
their giant...
Stands for dumb
They-
and comical.
Boy, they announced
or
a
something
whole
else.
lot. Okay, so what we're gonna do real quick, guys. In one word, what do you think about the lineup for the slate lineup for DC? Go, Sean.
I don't know it that well. Jeez.
Oh, you don't? Okay,
One word,
okay. Think about this one word as I read through. We'll just go through it. So, 2016, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Batman v Superman. 2016, Suicide Squad. That's Harley Quinn's band of people.
But it doesn't have Harley Quinn in it.
Oh, okay, that would be.
For reasons.
We need Harley Quinn in there.
Build
Okay.
up reasons.
Directed by David Ayer, who did Fury and End of Watch and a few other stuff. That's
This is a
2016.
funny sounding list. This is a funny sounding list, Max.
Yeah.
Going.
Let's keep going.
Wonder
I
Woman.
say we don't need the detail.
Okay, then fine. 2017, Wonder Woman, starring Gal Gadot.
Woo!
Finally.
Finally,
Finally.
jeez.
To be fair, what I think is interesting, and I've always thought about this real quick, is that Wonder Woman was also introduced not in her own show, but in the first episode of the Justice League cartoon to the MCU. You guys know that? Batman has his own series, Superman has his own series. Wonder Woman introduced in the Justice League series. I think that's just interesting. Like, it's kind of mirroring
Yeah.
that a little bit. Then
We're
we
going
have...
to go through each one of these. Let's
Yeah, I know. I
let's
just
start
want
by going
I'm
through
sorry, I
each
just
one
want
of
to throw
them.
that out. Then 2017, Justice League Part 1. Justice League Part 1 for 2017, directed by Zack Snyder. And yeah. 2018, The Flash, starring Ezra Miller. Not the Flash from the CW series, but a different Flash for 2018. 2018 also has Aquaman, starring Jason Momoa. Yeah, hopefully he battles for Atlantis in that one. And then 2019, we have Shazam, which cool.
Does I have?
Which with who we know as Dwayne the Rock Johnson as Black Adam, the main villain.
Yes.
And then Justice League Part 2 will be in 2019, also directed by Zack Snyder. And then 2020, we will see Cyborg, starring Ray Fisher. Cyborg being, well, if you saw Teen Titans, he's now in Justice League in the comics, so he's going to be in the Justice League movie. And Green Lantern in 2020 as well. So, that's a lot
Also,
of movies.
however, we
Oh, you
have
also-
sometime before 2020 another Superman standalone movie and a Batman
Oh,
standalone
yeah,
movie.
you
that
also
too. Yeah,
you
that
also
too.
missed Justice League Dark, That's also going to be a side
What's
thing.
Justice League Dark?
Because it's based off of characters who are kind of like.
You mean like the Justice Lords? Anybody? Okay.
No, I'm talking like I don't know, like
Bizarro?
Swamp Thing. Like that's one of the characters that's going to be like darker characters who are.
Oh, like just not like the evil sides of the characters, but like
that wasn't officially announced though, so let's not talk about that. Let's just go through each of the movies really quick.
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. The
only way it works for me. Okay, maybe this is me. The only way it works for me is that the name is actually incredibly accurate, and the point of the film is that Superman is on trial. Not literally, but he is on trial for the really awful things he did in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And the judge is Batman.
Yeah. Serious.
Batman shows up and says, "So what's up with all the deaths and you cold-blooded murdering someone by breaking his neck?"
The fact that he's going to be an older Batman might mean that Superman will have to like learn from Batman or something, like how to be an actual freaking hero, you know.
Yeah.
Not a huge Batman fan, but that'd be cool. Okay, that's good. Larry, real quick, we have to go through this pretty quickly if we want to go through the whole thing.
Would you want me to give me my one word, or you want me to give me my opinion?
No, just real quick, Batman v Superman.
Oh, looks interesting. Still not totally on the Zack Snyder train, but there's been a lot of interesting announcements about it, and it has potential to be great. Moving on.
Also, the fact that David S. Goyer's script was rewritten by the writer of Argo,
that makes it a pretty good thing.
That's more promising.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, nextly, Suicide Squad. I've heard the name. I don't know anything about it. So
no idea.
Yep, we can just skip it for all I care.
Wonder Woman.
I have no idea.
Finally.
I'm glad they're finally doing it. I don't really care about the character.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about Wonder Woman, real quick. I don't know any villains from Wonder Woman, honestly.
Yeah, no one really does. So I don't know what they'll do.
I think maybe they'll be like Athenian villains, like they do that sometimes. I think Ares is actually a villain.
Yep, Ares is a villain. Mm-hmm. That is a thing.
Okay, well, I'm glad they're finally doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it, and I like that. I like that they're doing it, and I hope it's good.
Yeah, honestly, it was about time, guys. You signed on Gal Gadot. You might as well have just signed on.
I believe. Real quick. Also, in 2017, we will be seeing a Lego Batman movie. Is that right?
Yes, I'm so excited for that because we're
not the and I want to make this clear: not the Lego Batman from the video games, the Lego Batman, but the Lego Batman from the Lego movie, voiced by Will Arnett.
So
yes,
that's why I'm excited because that was the best part of the Lego movie.
Will Arnett. He's great.
Except the ending.
It's awesome.
Yeah, well, except also everything else. Okay, yeah, so that's cool. Wonder Woman, good. Lego Batman, cool. Justice League Part 1. This is interesting. The fact that it's going to be a two-parter.
I don't know why they're doing this.
I just think it's...
Is the idea that it's one story?
No.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one story, not two-parter. Not like the cliffhanger, because it would make...
I think Part 1 and Part 2 are right now just code name. I don't think that they're going to be two...
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be continuing the same story. I think it's just going to be a very similar story to the Avengers. Like Avengers or Earth's Mightiest Heroes was the first.
No, I think...
Then Avengers Age of
not
Ultron was the second. You know?
Like, think about... What?
Well, I'm just going to throw out... I think with Marvel most likely pushing Thanos back quite a bit... This is where they should jump in and do Darkseid.
Darkseid? Yeah.
Because they're pretty much the same character, for those that don't know, Thanos and Darkseid, so much so that there's been legal disputes over it.
I love it.
That's
hilarious.
It's the same. They're the same.
House of Ideas. House of unoriginal ideas, you know what I'm saying?
Nope, I don't know what you're saying. All right.
So, there have been movies where we have, or like, you know how trilogies have like an overarching like villain, or like an overarching thing that has to be done. I think that's going to be what Justice League is. Like, it's not going to be two-part. It's not going to be like what the next two James Bond movies were going to be, where it's going to be two like movies that are just one story. We're going to have two conflicts that are very similar. Two conflicts that are they're very similar in characters, not in like theme or whatever.
Look, here's what's going to happen. Okay, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are going to be in Batman v Superman. They're going to be like, oh look, you exist. Then they're going to have their own movies. I assume those. I think those standalone movies are going to come before Justice League Part 1. Or if not, then very soon after Justice League
there's
Part
not really
1.
room for the Superman one or the Batman one.
It'll just have to be like, they'll have to just get it going, because I don't know why not. And then Wonder Woman's gonna have her own movie where they develop her character a lot more, because Batman and Superman are going to be developed in Batman v Superman. And then Justice League Part 1 or Justice League 1 is going to come out and it's going to be like, oh look, we're back together doing a conflict. Then they're going to have all those other side movies that we mentioned before, where they're going to be introducing even more characters as a Justice League. And then Justice League 2 is going to be, oh, look, we all exist. And then they're going to fight Darkseid. Or at least they're going to get closer to it. That's my theory.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, we'll see.
Drop it. Dropping it on... Done. Drop it.
Okay, cool. Real quick, I would like to see if... I mean, I'm asking, I'm not like begging for this, but it would be cool to see how these movies would address perhaps another prominent villain in the Justice League universe, Granny Goodness, the wife of Darkseid. I just want to see what that would look like live action. Because she's a weird
Yeah.
villain. I want to see that done.
That'd be a little scary. I don't know how to... Okay, whatever.
Yeah, so next up. So after that, even with the Wonder Woman movie, we have a bunch of like solo superhero movies. First up with The Flash starring Ezra Miller, which
I think is cool. He was great in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yeah, he really was.
awesome.
I think,
He's a great
he had a
actor.
good face. Hopefully he has good comedic timing because The Flash cannot be dark.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
No.
You could try and maybe it would be successful, but like,
No.
I'm not
No.
saying he should. I'm just saying it's possible.
Can we
but I think-
not Snyderize it?
Yeah,
please.
please.
Yeah, I would like to see it
Yeah,
be like
can we
fun,
just mention that? I really hope that some of these movies are not Snyderized. I want them to get some new blood, some like new blood, not like blood that comes in that wants to be Snyder. You know?
Oh my god, do you know what I want to see in the first Justice League movie? Like when they meet up for the first time, I want Flash to like after talking to Batman, Superman, like he could just be like, "Dude, lighten up," or something like that.
Yeah,
just like,
that'd be nice.
Yeah, after everybody's being so dumb.
Yeah, honestly,
But I want Flash. Yeah, I like the Flash.
I hate the dark broodingness. I'm done with it. I'm so
See, here's the
done
thing.
with
People
it.
always say that that's Nolan's thing.
No,
it
it's
is.
not just
But
Nolan's
Batman
thing.
was already that way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
And
but
Snyder
I mean, like,
was the one that took Superman and made him
Yeah,
that way.
seriously.
So
Yeah, I know,
Snyderifying whatever is a better verb.
Oh yeah, and you can also thank
But
Arrow
Arrow
for that
was
also
always
because Arrow's now
Yeah.
dark.
No,
and
Arrow is
brooding.
it's just Batman the show.
Yeah.
They're trying so hard to be Batman.
Seriously,
Oh, okay.
I am sick of the dark and brooding superhero. Can we
Yeah, and I
not
think the
lighten some shit up a little bit?
Yeah.
Honestly, God.
Yeah, I think the Flash will be just for that. Now, and moving on to that. What about Aquaman?
Same
How
deal. Same deal.
How would you approach Aquaman?
Okay.
Would you do dark?
Do you guys know the Batman Brave and the Bold? You familiar with that series?
I've watched a few
Yes.
episodes. Yeah,
I'm talking both the comics and the television show.
Oh, I know the television show. The Brave and the Bold was just like a bunch of Batman team up
it was like an
stories.
excuse
Yeah.
for it to have different Batman team ups to bring up some new heroes. In that comic series, Aquaman is portrayed probably in the most perfect way. He's kind of well, at least in the television show, I like to think of it also. He's kind of this buffoon in a way, but yet he is still powerful and he's
He's a surfer dude.
kind of, but he's kind of like Superman in a way. He has this kind of this gullibleness to him and this optimism, and he's a fun, he kind of cracks jokes a little bit, but in the end, he still gets the job done. Now, I don't think they should do that completely, like just 100% that. They should have some seriousness to the character also, but I want Aquaman to have like a soul, to have some spirit.
I want him to have his own identity. I don't want him to do like. I don't want to use this phrase because it just shows how unoriginal I am, but I don't want him to do the whole hook hand fan fiction thing. I mean, I know that's not fan fiction. I know that's an actual thing in the story, but just it's so weird. Like it's Aquaman. Like
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited kind of because it's Aquaman's being played by my son and stars Jason Momoa. For those that don't know, that's a Game of Thrones reference. He was great in Game of Thrones.
Okay. Great.
That's what his wife called. I don't.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding.
Anyway,
just like Aquaman just seems like such an interesting character to take on, just in terms
it's
of
going to be
tone.
so hard to pull him off.
Plus,
because
is anyone else interested in seeing Black Manta go on screen? I want to see him be the villain.
I've never
Black
seen
Manta
Black
is
Manta.
awesome. Like Young
I
Justice
know,
is like
right?
Black
He's
Manta
awesome. Why have
I've
we
never
not
seen Black
seen
Manta
it?
outside of like in Lego Batman or whatever. So I'm curious to see what he looks like, but whatever. So that's Aquaman. I think is going to be interesting. I look forward to it. I think the thing is, I don't want all these movies to have the same tone. I just don't because I mean, like
Marvel movies don't.
Yeah. With the Winter Soldier,
compare
they showed
Winter
they could
Soldier
be,
to
they can
Guardians.
be they can be serious. Winter Soldier and Guardians, perfect balance. Like one's really funny and lighthearted and also really meaningful. The other's like very serious, but also like funny when it needs to be, like all that stuff. So I don't think it's maybe fine. I'll give Nolan some credit. Maybe Warner Brothers just thought that was what made Batman so successful instead of the Batman trilogy so successful instead of just being really good movies. But like
also that is part of what makes Batman successful.
Yeah.
Not Superman, not Wonder Woman, not Aquaman, not Flash, not Cyborg, not everyone
Now
else.
with
They
Wonder
gotta have their own thing.
Woman, I'm okay if she's a serious character because
Well, yeah, I mean Wonder Woman is serious.
Yeah.
She beheads
Yeah.
people. Like
Yeah.
she's hardcore.
and
badass,
she kind of like she's one of those like she's not. I don't think she's very like cultured. Like she's she was always isolated out in Phoenix, so she
Yeah.
could be like just very serious and like very hard to approach and all that. Which is why I would think it'd be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the Flash talk to her as well.
Yeah.
Just to, like, see how that works out. But yeah, okay. But moving on from that, Shazam. I'm looking forward to that.
Shazam!
Yeah. For those that don't know, the Shazam is pretty much Superman, except he's actually a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah, who just says Shazam, which Shazam, it's not the name of the superhero. The name of the superhero is actually Captain Marvel. There's a whole dispute over this. But think about it this way. There was once a time when Superman, like the most popular hero on the planet, was not Superman. It was Superman and Captain Marvel. They were like at odds. Yep. And then DC was like, we're going to buy you now.
Yeah, so Captain Marvel, pretty much 10-year-old kid that yells Shazam, lightning bolt hits some magic power, and Billy Bastion, he gets pretty much Superman powers, and he's awesome.
Yeah,
because
Shazam
he's flying around,
it's more than
but he's
just
a kid.
Superman. Shazam apparently used to be an acronym for, like, Achilles,
no, it is an acronym for
strength of something.
6 powers that he gets.
Seriously.
Yeah, Shazam.
Zeus, Hercules, Achilles, all these different heroes combined into one. So,
anyway, Shazam's cool.
Yeah, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson is gonna kill it.
Black Adam.
He's gonna
kill it. Shazam only had to fly through space for hundreds/thousands of years, so he's kind of upset.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool.
Pissed.
So I mean, again, it's got to be the same approach as the Flash. Like,
I'm probably most excited for Shazam now that I'm thinking about it. Out of all the films,
I mean, you gotta have a good child star. You gotta have a really good, like, charismatic actor who can also be kind of a man-child, because that's literally what Shazam is.
Yeah,
he's a child in a man's body. But yeah. So then after Shazam comes Justice League Part 2, which there's not really much else
kind of already
to
talked
say.
about.
Which again is just going to bring in those other characters.
And here comes the big year that I'm looking forward to, 2020, with Cyborg and Green Lantern. First off,
so what year is that? 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
I still don't think that's enough time for Green Lantern. The damage of previous
9 years. Come on.
No, they're good.
Well, it took
at least a decade.
Exactly 10 years in between. No, it took 11 years between 1984 and 2005 for Batman to come back after Batman and Robin, I think, or maybe it was 1995, something like that. So they're kind of waiting that long. Cyborg, seriously, like, I hope that Marvel gets on Black Panther before that. I don't, I hope so. And Green Lantern, gotta be Jon Stewart. It's gotta be, seriously. And honestly, the more, based on both fan response to the original reveal of the Green Lantern, most people were like, why isn't it the Black Green Lantern? Because everybody, because a lot of DC fans, like young DC fans that DC's kind of aiming the movies at, grew up with the Justice League cartoon. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I believe that a really smart idea they could do, I think a good approach would be to incorporate a lot of stuff from the DC animated universe into this. You've got a great lineup. I'm not saying take the writing, but just some very aesthetic changes. If you bring in the Joker to the solo Batman movie, bring in Harley Quinn. Why the hell not?
Yeah, that's the way to differentiate him. Yeah, for sure.
And if you do a Batman movie, I still think that the Phantasm would be a kick-ass villain.
Also, bring in Robin.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in just a second. Also, so for Cyborg.
Not very familiar.
Does anybody know Ray Fisher?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't know Ray Fisher, but I'm looking forward to it because seriously, I'd like to see that. Yeah, I mean Cyborg. Yeah, and maybe down the line, in 2026, we could get Teen Titans.
Yeah, cool. Teen Titans.
Yeah, and then So does anybody have anything to say on the Green Lantern? I mean,
okay, nah. Here's my idea. Okay, I don't think it should just be Jon Stewart. I think it should be a lot more. The Green Lantern, a lot of people don't seem to know this if they're not comic book people. But the Green Lantern is not just Hal Jordan. It's a whole race of beings. And there's yellow lanterns, there's red lanterns,
and there's blue lanterns,
purple,
orange lanterns,
there's
purple
indigo,
lanterns, black lanterns, white lanterns.
There's a ton of lanterns, all right? This movie is the key to finally opening that up and to introduce us to multiple Green Lantern characters. What if Green Lantern was similar to Guardians in a way that it had 4 main characters?
That would be you know what? That'd be really cool. I would like to see both Jon Stewart and also the other guys.
And then, let's not just all of a sudden jump to fighting Sinestro. Why can't we have a conflict involving all of the different rings? I would love to see.
Well, I think that may be too much for the first movie, but as it went on,
and maybe this DCU, I guess the DCCU, I guess if we're now going to be calling it that, if it does continue, can expand into more movies regarding each different ring. Again, Green Lantern has its own gigantic universe that nobody seems to give enough credit.
Yeah, there is a Blue Lantern that is literally a corgi.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And did you know there was actually there was a part in the comics recently where like there was a bunch of DC heroes and villains that became lanterns. I believe even the Scarecrow was an orange lantern.
That's hilarious.
If I'm not mistaken.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Lex Luthor was a yellow lantern. I think. No, wait. Oh no, something like that. No, I think I got it wrong. Lex Luthor was an orange lantern, and like Scarecrow was a lantern basically, and Batman was like a blue lantern. I think that would be cool. I have a theory as to how this should be like approached in like a final bout. They should make this entire thing into one big finale for what I think would be a great way to end the DCCU, like a definitive end, and you go do other stuff after that. Kingdom Come. Have you guys ever read Kingdom Come?
Yes.
Nope.
Basically, if you haven't heard of Kingdom Come, think of it this way. It's like, you ever read Watchmen? Well, that's like the comic book world's response to Watchmen. It's the rebuttal to Watchmen. That's what a lot of people have called it. And it's a great book. You should totally check it out. You know, there's no like backstory. It's just a great graphic novel. And I think just a great way to like have that would be to it's like a clash of like dark brooding versus like the lighthearted superheroes that define comics in the Silver Age. So I think that'd be a great way to end it. It's like a huge war. It's like it's like an end to DC kind of thing. But I don't know. I think that'd be a cool way to end it. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you guys think of the lineup? What do you guys think?
Oh, great lineup. This is.
I have to see.
I mean, yeah.
Batman vs Superman, you gotta really have to do it
Yeah.
well.
And do you guys have any like what do you guys want to see in the Batman and Superman solo movie, like those upcoming ones?
Well, I don't have anything in those. I mean, the movie I want to see the most, honestly, is a Nightwing movie. Nightwing is so overlooked. For those who don't know, Nightwing is when Robin grows up.
The first Robin.
Yeah,
Dick Grayson.
Yeah, Dick Grayson. And he says, "Hey, I don't want to be Batman." And so he just becomes Nightwing, and he's like Batman, but not brooding and way like cooler.
That's
think
cool.
Nightwing's
That
so
sounds like
cooler.
a great thing. Awesome.
Let's see.
Let's see. Yeah, what like I think again, I would like to see if you guys don't know, the Phantasm is basically like a Batman villain that actually taps into Batman's past instead of like having their own thing. And I think, and so have you guys seen Mask of the Phantasm?
No.
It's a great movie. And that villain I think is really cool, especially if we want to have a Batman solo movie about Batman. The Phantasm would be a great way to like really get into his character. But that's all I'll say. I would also want to see Brainiac. Next Superman movie, Brainiac.
Rumored to actually be the Justice League villain. The first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Not Darkseid? I thought Darkseid was okay. Cool. Whatever. Brainiac is a really cool villain, and yeah, we want to see that.
I'm trying to.
I take a lot of ideas from the DC animated universe. I'm sorry, it's just that good. I'm sorry,
I would like to see Dr. Fate get something within the universe because he's pretty much the Doctor Strange of the DC universe.
What's that one guy that like
Doctor
lives? What's that one guy that like lives forever that like never ages? He's like immortal. He's like always a villain. I don't remember his name, but like he's like a human, but he's immortal. Like he never ages, and he's actually a very smart tactician, and he's just like a very deadly enemy to the Justice League. I'd like to see him, whatever his name is.
Right. I don't think he needs his own movie, but if we are eventually going to deal with Green Lantern and some more outer worldly DC people, I think Dr. Fate eventually needs to be introduced in some way.
Yeah, Dr. Fate, absolutely.
If we're going to talk about what's going on within the standalone movies, I think the Batman standalone would be a great way to get Robin in the picture. In some way.
Okay, here's a question then. In that regard, you guys think they should go for Joker or just?
Nah.
You have to go off.
Well,
after
yeah.
a while.
You cannot put Batman in your movie series and not have Joker.
Yeah, but guys,
Yeah,
there are
but, like,
so
yeah.
many other great Batman
There
villains we
are,
can tap
yes, there
into.
are. I've been playing through Batman Arkham City. There are a ton of great villains. I'd love to see Hugo Strange
You know what
in there.
I hate? I hate the fact that Jim Carrey, for some stupid reason, put a bad taste in everyone's mouth regarding Riddler. I personally
Even
like
though
his.
the Riddler's a really cool villain.
I found his performance to be actually very
Even though he's kind of a
interesting.
little bitch.
But besides for that, Riddler is one of the most impressive villains in the Batman Rogues Gallery, and the fact that he hasn't been getting a lot of support lately for anything besides for a small cult following is really annoying me. So that should happen also. As far as the Superman standalone, Supergirl maybe, but again, I think that could be a good movie to kind of introduce a new Superman villain. And as far as the lineup,
that's a good thing. Do you guys think they're going to be like any brand new original villains or like original very important characters to this? Like not like humans, but just like
Doubt
beings. Completely. Yeah, I mean, I would think that'd be kind of.
it would be cool.
Like make a brand new Superman villain that everybody can just go to that isn't Lex Luthor.
It would be cool, but I doubt it, considering this lineup is already pretty heavily influenced by fandom.
What is a villain of the Flash? You guys know? I actually
Reverse
don't
Flash.
know.
Oh, Gorilla Grodd.
Oh, is there seriously reverse? Oh, Gorilla. Wait,
Reverse
Gorilla
Flash
Grodd's a
killed
Flash
his mother.
villain?
Yeah, Gorilla Grodd.
Oh,
Reverse Flash is a really big deal.
Yeah, so is Gorilla Grodd.
Oh wait,
Apparently
Reverse
they're
Flash
arch
still that,
nemesis.
or was it Gorilla? Whatever.
Which
Okay,
is-
interesting. Wait, what does Reverse Flash like run really slow?
No.
I don't know.
He's from the future trying to kill the Flash, whatever.
Is he also the, whatever? I don't know.
Oh,
That's
yo,
really kinda
Red
complicated.
Hood also would be a very interesting person.
But Red Hood isn't Red Hood the Joker?
Well, technically speaking, but he's from an alternate
Well,
universe.
he was. Okay, Red Hood became the Joker, but then when Jason Todd was killed and he was brought back in the Lazarus Pit, he became Red Hood.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
But yeah, there's a whole alternate
And-
universe with like each like hero and villain has their own reverse identity. You know, like the
Yeah.
Blue Beetle is now the Scarlet Scarab and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah, and just real quick, we were going to talk about this real quick, but we're pretty much out of time. But there was a rumor that the new Robin was going to be female. I think that'd be fine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really see any reason why not to. Because I mean, if Catwoman has taught me anything, it's that female heroes and villains can be very acrobatic, and Batman is very acrobatic, so a Robin would be very acrobatic. So yeah, that works. And there was a female Robin, though it was in a different universe. And, oh man, talking about comics is so hard sometimes.
that the Batman, standalone movie could also do a little bit with Selena Kyle, not Catwoman, Selena Kyle. I think they could do a little bit of foreshadowing that. But I just wanted to get my final thoughts on the lineup as a whole. I'll try to keep it brief. I think this is a great lineup. DC's finally getting their damn act together, which is something that I've been waiting for quite a long time.
With that in mind, though, don't make any assumptions. You never know. This could suck.
These
just
all
like
could
Phase 3
suck.
could suck.
Okay,
so could this.
Zack Snyder could get his crummy little hands in all these movies and
God.
ruin
You
them.
haven't-
But or Goyer too. Goyer could do it all.
Goyer is the one that would ruin
Fine,
it.
fine.
Goyer
Yes,
could
yes.
also do
we'll
it.
jump on Goyer, but not Snyder. I like Snyder.
But listen, they aren't idiots. DC aren't idiots. They're not going to make this whole lineup and just keep it all the same because clearly,
Yeah, they're going to change.
Doesn't
This is
always
gonna change,
work.
but basically, these are the projects they have in development,
right?
and it's important.
Okay, and they've already set dates for them, and of course they could change, but they're probably going to happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing them happen. That being said, again, we can't assume anything, like you said, and we need to proceed with caution. Wait throughout the next few weeks as more news comes out. We'll see what happens. But right now,
we may do maybe we could do like a quick little update just in case, like a quick little 20-minute discussion.
maybe if
Just
we
a little
get
update
some,
on
if we
things,
get some
in
news.
case, just in case. But I think that wraps
Yeah,
up for us
but
today,
I'm
guys.
looking forward. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think what's good. I think the main thing we take away from this is that the superhero, like, I don't really consider it a genre anymore, but just the superhero subject is about to kick it into serious high gear.
Yeah,
Like,
you think it's high gear now.
Yeah, it's getting crazy, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, some good stuff can come out of it,
We
some bad stuff
truly
can come out
are
of it. But
in the
honestly, it's a
golden
very
age
exciting
of
idea.
superhero films now.
Yeah, I think Batman v Superman will initiate a new era. I think, like we're already in the golden age, and I think that's going to issue in a second age where anything goes.
Silver
and
Age?
Well, I mean, the Silver Age, that would actually make a lot of sense considering how bonkers that time was, and how Golden Age was a little bit more. It's just a tiny bit more restrained. So that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's good. Silver Age superhero movies might, or everything might completely bomb. There's always that possibility, but that would mean
Let's
not
try to
taking
keep our
into
hopes
consideration yeah. But this was a good discussion, guys. I enjoyed this.
me
It was
too.
good to just talk about superhero movies because I think it's best just instead of like always talking about like little bits and pieces, just going into a full-on hour-plus long discussion. Yeah. So like, do you have any closing thoughts on this whole matter?
Don't
Anything?
screw it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to do superhero movies as long as you do them well.
Oh god damn it! I knew we were going to get to that eventually.
Boom. That's our catchphrase at this point. But no, seriously,
that really
make
is.
a Nightwing movie, or go look up Nightwing, or watch Young Justice, and then also go see the Age of Ultron storyboarded trailer from Comic-Con 2014.
DC, or Warner Brothers, hire Bruce Timm as like producer, consultant, or whatever. I know. I've been going on this whole train for a while, but seriously, he knows your characters better. He knows DC characters better than maybe some of the people who are working on those DC characters right now. And just the fact is, he would be the Kevin Feige of your place, and it would work just fine because he's done that before. Okay?
And also,
DC, love you guys.
Also,
we'll get drinks sometime.
DC, don't screw it up. And also, I feel
Marvel?
really bad
Marvel?
for Sony because Sony has a lot of movies planned for Spider-Man. And if they drop it,
Yeah. And Marvel, keep your place clean, please. We don't want any messes. We don't want any stains in the carpet. All right, guys, that was good.
It was long.
Next time we may talk about a movie. Maybe we'll talk about something else.
It's a big mystery as the great Cruel Thirds hiatus continues.
Yeah, and it'll be good. Whatever it is, it'll be good. So, with that in mind, my name is Max.
My name is John.
And my name is Larry.
Thanks for going with us for over an hour, and we will see you next time. Hear us later.
Bye.
A treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.